when I was appointed to to the chair of the advisory board on the President's Initiative on Race, there were people in this country who thought that I somehow had been appointed and given power to solve the race problem. As I would go from place to place in the country, people would say, well, how's it going? Like, what's the score? And I would say, oh, it's going all right. But they thought, how much more do you have to do before you solve it, And I knew that that was not the road. I wasn't traveling down that road at all. And I tried all the time that I was chair of that board to point out to the people that this was an advisory board. We were just making some suggestions to the president what he ought to do, that sort of thing. And we were generally and widely misunderstood. And therefore, the expectations were high. And therefore, large numbers of people were disappointed. I was not disappointed. I was very much heartened because I didn't expect as much as many other people did. And whatever we did in the way of developing promising practices and things, agencies and activities that might be emulated in other places, I was very pleased with. I was very pleased with it.
Because your expectations were under control.
They were under control.
From the beginning.
That's right.
You achieved what you expected to achieve.
Yes, and in some instances more than I expected to achieve.
But on the other hand, I cannot imagine that you expected some of the grief you had to take, some of the, the stuff from the media, the stuff from, different kinds of, advocacy groups. You took a lot of flack.
Well, I know, and I would have expected that. I knew before I became chair of that board that there were people who felt that the race problem had been solved. There are plenty of people in this country who think there's no problem in race. There were people in this country who felt that just let it alone. There might be a problem, but just let it alone. There are people who felt that we were do-gooders and that we were not going to achieve anything. There were people who felt that the president was not being honest and he was just creating some fluff, just to cover up some of his activities or to get some credit for nothing. I knew all that, and therefore I was not surprised when people spoke and wrote against me. I think that if I had been, and if this had got to me, it might have affected me adversely in a way that it did not.
How did you keep it from getting to you?
My expectations probably were not as high as other people. And you see, I've gotten, some people don't know it, but I've received letters, most of them anonymous, but letters from people for years who call me all kinds of names, who criticize me for all kinds of things. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've gotten several letters, very adversely critical to me. So I've learned to live with that sort of thing, and I'm not about to let it stop me from doing what I want to do and doing what I think is right.